So many things have changed in our world, are changing at a very rapid speed, and have come together in unpredictable ways. I don't have to tell you about most of them. I mean, right now, we're using the internet. That has changed my life so profoundly that I really would never have been able to do any of the things I'm doing in a public way before the internet was invented and came into being, came into dominance. In fact, one of the things I say sometimes about my being a late bloomer, having started my current career around the age most people are supposed to be retiring. I call that a late bloomer. Not only did my soul need the time to mature, not only was I a perpetual child for good reasons and ill. Not only did I really take advantage of a very long on-ramp of development, but hey, I had to wait for the damn internet because the internet made everything possible that I had wanted to do, but felt prevented from doing. I remember when I first came into the online coaching world 15 years ago and started looking at coaching programs, institutes, and the curricula and seeing what they taught, because I knew I was going to be a coach and I knew I was already a good coach, but I thought, hey, I should probably find out what coaching actually is in case anyone calls me out on it. When I say I was already a good coach, I'd been working with clients for a number of years and I knew I had a capacity to listen and to be of service, etc. But coaching has its own rules and formulas. So I was looking to take a coaching training and I saw that in the curriculum of a program I was exploring, at the end, it had stuff about business and marketing. And I got all freaked out, like, oh no, that's so crass. I don't want anything to do with that. Right. And then I had this other little light bulb go off and say, well, wait a minute. That's why you've never succeeded. You're going to have to learn that. Not only have to, that's going to be my next thing that I embrace and dance with and explore. And I started reading about what was involved in this new world of marketing and business, et cetera. So mind you, this was my first real exploration of the internet. Um, and I was reading about like things that were part of marketing could include teaching classes, could include giving talks, could include writing articles and publishing them. And I got all confused and also excited. And I said to myself, wait a minute, they're calling that marketing. I call that my heart's desire. Because before the internet, when I was attempting to be some kind of healer and I took a master's degree in art therapy and I thought, oh, I love to write articles, but there's only two art therapy journals and you have to write in academies, which I hate, and I feel so constricted. And I had envied people who could find a venue to teach, but you had to apply or be chosen to be part of somebody's school or program. There's no way to just teach. We're going to teach on the street corner somewhere in New York, Broadway and 72nd Street. I'll, you know, call people to me. And what about publishing? Well, there were magazines, there were journals, there were papers, But you had to apply to be accepted. There was a gatekeeper in front of every single thing that had to do with personal expression. And I have always had both a gift and a desire and a love and a drive to express myself verbally and publicly to a group, whether it's speaking like I'm doing now, which is why I love making videos, because I love to speak. And I know there's somebody out there, even if it's just a couple of people. And teaching, I love to teach. And writing, I love to write. But quite frankly, we've gotten used to it now, but it wasn't that many years ago when there was not an internet, when there was not a gate-free community, open doors, all the doors flung open, all the gatekeepers exiled, nobody there to tell you whether you can or cannot teach a class, whether you can or cannot publish an article, whether you can or cannot give a public talk or a webinar or a master class or whatever it is. This was radically new. So for me personally, part of my what determined that I was to be a late bloomer is that I had to wait for the internet. It's sort of crazy to say it that way, but I just have such a drive to communicate, and I couldn't do it before. So when I saw this curriculum for a teaching, coaching training, and I said to myself, oh my God, they're calling that methods of marketing. But to me, that's been my heart's desire and my heart's longing and my heart's pain and suffering and disappointment and frustration, because I had a gift, but I couldn't use it because gatekeepers shut me out everywhere. And I was a very introverted, shy, or just insecure person. I didn't have the drive to, you know, assert myself or project myself or make it happen. So much has changed. That's one of the big things that's changed. And just to pull another thing at random, uh, lifespan has greatly lengthened, and health span as well. Back in the day when Social Security was set up, I think it was the 1930s, of retirement age being 65, at which point people could collect Social Security. They weren't expected to live very long after that. The lifespan was much shorter. 65 was really kind of the end of the road. So you could get money for a few years. But what about now if someone's on Social Security and they have another 30 years of health, which is common? It's not uncommon. So the opportunity to continue to express and be creative and to actually reap the benefits of a longer life and reap the benefits of part 2 or even part 3 of a life that's been explored deeply, to bring something of fruition from your soul into the world. That's new just because we live longer. And I think the whole evolutionary reason why human beings live, especially women, live for so many years and decades beyond our childbearing years is exactly in order to allow us to bring forth what we birth from our soul. And then there's just the fact of so much spiritual awakening happening now. People speak of this, but it's really true. I can remember the days when a bookstore would have a few shelves of books on Zen Buddhism and maybe Western esotericism, a few things, a few topics. And now, of course, there's whole stores devoted just to the books. And I remember a long time ago, I thought I could somehow keep up and keep buying all the books that were published on spirituality. Well, I gave it a good shot, but now I'm getting rid of them because my house is overflowing with books I never had a chance to read. There's an awakening, there's a spiritual influx, insurgence of energy, drive, creativity, vision, awakening. And for many people, for many of us women, these changes and others converge, and create this phenomenon that I see around me of women in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, ripening our fruit, having something really ready to offer the world, maturing within our souls. And we have the means to do it. You know, not only is the internet available, but when I first came online, it was very difficult technically. You couldn't create your own website. Everything was arcane and you had to hire people to do every little thing. I remember when I had someone do a website for me and I'd have to ask her, I want to move a comma in this sentence. I couldn't do that myself. My God, how that has changed. So basically, another way in which the gatekeepers have opened the gates and given us free access to our tools. Women are ripening. The wisdom of the wise elder divine feminine energy is emerging more and more into our world. And we have the means of communication. We have the means of creating a business. And more of the people who are starting businesses now are women, including women, as they used to say, of a certain age. I love that certain age. That's the age of wisdom. It's the age of maturation. Be a matriarch, be a goddess, be a high priestess. It's our time to move into that role. And so many pieces have come together to make it possible. This is Tomar Levine of Soul Guidance for Awakening and Soul Guidance for Your Business. Many blessings. Bye for now. And if you enjoy what I'm doing, please like and subscribe to my videos.